Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm working on the project and I'm using MySQL library and for my project. But the MySQL is just it's just a library and supports just plain text SQL. So let's take a look at this model wiki, and you can see it's just only supports and plain text so SQL. So this is so hard and so not flexible for in our project. So I'm going to create a new library. So for example, I want to do like this: db.select uh, select for example select user with alias u, and we have a field. Field should be an array of we have ID and name and create this as something like that. We have a tree field, and then which condition I want to do condition. It should be a name, uh, should be a condition u.id, for example uh, less than 1 or greater than 1, and we have I check q, or we have a fetch one like that. So I want to create a new query builder like this, and so it's so flexible, and I think we can do like this: query equal db select and then we can cut it into another row. Query dot fill and query dot condition, and finally, and we have a more condition for each of a less than to b, and then we have a query dot condition, for example condition name equal not equal name equal 1, and should be equal like this. So this is also flexible query builder. I want to build this and for user in the real project. And finally, we have a query dot fake one. Okay. So and it's final. We have a resource error, something like that, and fake one. So this is what I want to do. So today I'm going to create a new project, and for I name project is query builder. And in the rules of the project, I want to create a main file, Spark access to main function main, and we have a logs.print and hello world. So this Golang is awesome. It automatically imports the packages and automatically auto-completes and automatically imports the packages. This is what's the cool feature, and this is bad. I think this is the bad thing. I recommend use it in the Unreal project. And now go into terminal and open the console and go run go runs the main.go. So you should see a hello world. And so now we have the project is working. And now we need to the first thing I'm going to follow up the document, and in the roots GitHub go SQL driver MySQL. And in the MySQL, I also create the basic database which have only 2 tables. Just table user, we have an ID at primary key, name, and created the date time. And we have same thing, we have ports, and the port should have a user ID who created this port, and we have a title and body and created the timestamp when the port created. and I press Command Z and going to forward this model into database, and because this automatically, okay, it is done, and open up is my local, and so we have a query builder database. We have a view table with a port and it's empty, nothing show here, and same thing we have a user table, it's empty. So now let's about to get back to the Go SQL driver, and I'm going to get the library in. Let's open the app on terminal in Golang and pass this command, run and hit enter. Now this means the package has been installed. Now I'm going to import it. Just copy that, and we have. Now I'm going to make a function, for example, fun MySQL connect MySQL. So in the Golang, if you have a capital is the first name, first character of the function. This means the public function. And now I'm going to copy importer, and we have DB and open. I want to make sure this works, and SQL open driver, and username it should be root, and my localhost is root, and DB name query and builder. And we have if error not equal new. This means maybe we can't connect to our database, and we punish the app and we have an error. Otherwise, we have a database right now. So now I'm going to create new. I'm going to return DB and error. Return DB. So it should be a return SQL.db DB. Right, so in the main function, I'm going to create a new connect DB for example DB equal connect MySQL and print line DB. Okay, so now let's go run main.go and see what happened. All right, so this means we don't have any error right here. So for example, I want to change the user up and run again. You should see, all right, so what's happened? DB rules and query builder, and I don't see error here. I'm going to print log.print DB and error and see what happened. DB, and we have a DB and error equal nil. This means it's working. Okay, so now I'm going to do a simple insert function right here. Now if just make sure sample, and I'm going to use db dot I check with a query insert into so actually we have a user is a name, no, it's empty. I'm now going to insert into user with a name and created as value, and we have a pass name, the name user, we have a name, and it should be the name, for example Toán, and created should be time dot now. Okay, so let's see what happened. db.exec should be result an error. So results an error. So I'm going to print results dot last insert id. Okay, so id error equal results dot last insert id. Print id and error. Okay, so now we run this again one more time. I think we should have an error because this is a new memory because the database isn't connected. So we're going to change query builder again and see. Okay, so it's run and hello world, and with the one, this is the ID of the user. So now I'm going to refresh the database, and we should have a same. We have a first name, and I'm going to create a another query. Query for results, and we insert into post. We have a title and body and user ID and created at because it is automatically so set a default timestamp. So I don't think it's title post, and we have a body equal description and time dots now not, so it should be 1 because user ID is 1. Now I'm going to run again. Okay, so memory, by memory and point insert into. Okay, let's see. So we have a three parameter, but we have only one. So now I'm going again run it, and okay, hello world 1. Now it means it's correct, and now I'm going to select table from builder.post, and now it's command. I should see a title, user ID, and post. So that's it. How basic SQL driver working. So we have to write directly, SQL, but this is very confusing, and I don't want to use it. So I'm going to make a new library for it to be. Now I'm going to create a new folder. Okay, so I'm creating a new folder. For example, folder it should be query. Okay, so package query. Inside query, I'm going to make a new database.go, and I'm going to price of database extract, and we have a db. It should be sql.db, and we store db connection inside our database struct. And in database struct we have I want to do about like this. First, new database. So remember, inside we have a connect in MySQL. So I want to do when we call this function new database, we have a URL string, and we connect database inside. We should be return database function return database. So inside the connect function, I'm going to copy that, and we connect directly, and this should be URL. Now we pass a parameter of URL. So inside the main function, connect to MySQL. So we don't need the connect function MySQL anymore. So we have a db equal, and we start new database. Query.new database. So query is a query builder query because the query folder, query package is under query builder. Query and new database query. Okay, so we have the parameter is the URL. I'm now going to pass a parameter, and so now we have a database, and we have to handle this function. If error is not new, we're going to panic the app. We don't have a connect to database, so we have a connect error, and otherwise we return db. Okay. I'm sorry, return not db. Should be rich initialize new database struct new database with db equal, we copy we use a db function, db object, or return that. Okay, so we done. So initialize a new database. So now I want to call db dot for example dot insert. I want to do insert query, insert into any table. For example, insert into the user table with field. So how we do that? If you want to make a new function, insert db insert. So we don't have any function insert. So now I'm going to make a new function, and we have a d database and insert. So make sure you have a capture, first character, v.insert. So insert, what about insert? The insert, it should be where table, which table, and table, it should be a string, and we also return database. Why we do have to return database? Because I want to do this, insert a table, for example table user, and then I want to do any other if you do not return anything right here, so you can dot anything here because it's return void, return nothing, so you can dot anymore. So you have to call again, for example. So that is why we do have a return again database, return d, and to make sure, for example, return insert, and then we have a function. So we have an I don't think we have a return database. So, but I'm going to create a new file, for example, insert.go, and we handle insert query, package query, and type insert query. It should be a struct and insert query. So insert query, we have also capture database. It should be a database. And so now I'm going to return insert query. So inside insert query, we have a function query and insert query. All right, so insert query, we have a function field, insert which field, and we have return nothing. For now, we have return nothing. Insert query and return we have initialize a new insert query with db equal d, we can return d database, and for now we return nothing. And insert query, insert which table, we have to a table. I think we can capture db and table. All right, table is a string, should be a string. So inside we have a init a db. No, it's not counter. So db d, and we have a table. Insert a table. We have a parameter from a function table. Okay, so now we init new insert query. So for example, insert query we have a fill. So this means we return an insert query. And now I'm going to can do dot fill. We have a fill function. It's cool. We continue do, or we can do query insert uh, insert query equal db, and we can do that. And again we can call insert query dot fill. It's the same thing. So we can do if you can do condition if 0 equal 0, something like that, and we do insert something. We have a more condition, and in our project it's really useful and it's very flexible. Okay, so let's keep is one line of code, and I don't want to break in the multiplies. And now we have a fill. So fill insert into a table. For example, the query should be like this. I'm going to get back to my diagram and going to copy the insert template to clipboard. And now you should see insert into a table. We don't need to include a database. We have the insert into table with the name and created at and the value. The value in Golang we can map like that, and we have it to a path parameter follow. So insert query should be have a fill and value. So fill and value. How we can store fill and value? I'm going to make type insert fill. Should be a struct. Insert fill should have a fill name. Fill, it should be a string. I'm sorry, it should be a string and value. The value it should be an interface. Interface be anything. I'm sorry, interface. Because we can insert a string, insert an integer, and insert a bool value or insert a date time. So we have to declare it as interface. Okay, so we have a fill and should be a map string and interface fill. So in database, so now we have we have a call insert fill. It should be a map of string. For example, we have a fill. It should be into a table. We have a ID is auto increment, so we don't have to insert the ID. So we only insert the name and created at is automatically the field default with the current timestamp. So we only insert name. For example, only insert name equal. For example, is string one. This is my name, and okay. So I want to do so I want to call this function, but this function does not exist. So we do have to create that. Create that. Now I'm going to insert and follow up. We have a fill, and I'm going to do function q and insert query. And it should be HCQ. So HCQ it should call to q dot db. It should db dot check. We can call to a db again, but I'm going to make inside a database. We can make a function from d database and check. It should be check should be check should be check. Okay. call to exec, and we return d.db.exec. Exec should be exec a query SQL string, and it should be an interface and argument. So we don't have a string and argument right here, but return exec should be result and arrow. So should be return two parameter SQL.result and arrow. Okay, so the function is working, but we have to implement add. Add should be a string of SQL. So the insert of string SQL is should like this. String should be like this, or anything. It's this is, for example, that is the answer, but a query SQL should be anything. So it should be exec anything suits exec query. So I'm going to exec dot query, and so with the implement query it should be a string, and parameter should be an array. Should interface. Okay, so it's okay. So we have to do that. It's a set array. And now inside insert function, we can call db should database, and we can call to exec function insert. So we can call to q.db dot exec. Okay, it's a query. Query should be a query, and argument, an argument, and we are going to implement argument and query. And query it should be a string and argument. That's how we do have argument. I think inside the insert query, we are going to make a query as argument. So argument, it should be an array of interface. Should be array of interface. I think var argument equal an array of interface. Okay, so we can call like this. To slide, use a slide of argument. And so what's about argument? Now I'm going to do, we have to insert into exec. Exec q. Or insert into field. We have to make sure we have a return nothing, but I'm going to return insert query. That means we are going to continue run a function scale. We can call to again to a function scale. You will see that. So inside scale, first thing we do return q, and I'm going to with table insert query. I'm going to do is the field. It should be a field. Field it should be an array of string, and we have a value. It should be an okay. So I think we can map this into field equal should be a map of string and interface. Okay, and just so now you can see we need to set q dot field equal field from parameter. So that's enough. And inside function HQ, we do have to to map everything into SQL like this. So the SQL, the first of SQL insert either like this. Insert in, we have a query insert into user. User, it should be a table, q.table, and we replace that. And again, now we have a snake. Okay, so we have something like this. The value, just a field name. So how do we like a field right now like this? Shall be insert. Okay, so I'm going to map through. Now I'm going to map. Okay, so we have to map field. I'm going to search for a Golang loop in map string. Okay, sometimes I don't remember anything, so we have to. Okay, so we have a key and value in rank in the map. Okay, so we have a rank and key. I'm now going to var field equals should be array of string and the argument, it should be an array of inner frame. So we have a key and value and rank up in q.field. We have a map of string, a map of string inner frame. So we have a key. It should be a name of the field. So we have a field equal append. I'm going to append field with the key and argument equal append argument should be a value v. Okay, so that is enough. And insert into, now I'm going to replace this and remove that. So we do need to it should be plus with plus with string.john string. So you have to import the string library. String.john a field with so let's get back to it. We have only field and with comma and the value. So the value, let's get back again. We have a value and copy that. We have a value, so it should be marked like this. So how we mark like this? So I'm going to var placeholder equal an array of string, and as the field we have a placeholder equal append placeholder, and we should append like that. Sorry, it should be a string. And we are going to do join it string.join placeholder with I'm sorry. Let's get back and see. Oh, it should be a comma. So is comma is correct. Okay, so let's, before exec anything, so I'm going to log, which is print log.println SQL query. Now see, we have a go run and execute and log hello world, and now we to remove that. And I'm going to run again. Go run method go. We have a log SQL insert into user with a name and value. So if I want to insert a created add, it should be a time. Time does now, and you see Golang is automatically import time. It's comma. So now I'm run again. You see we have a two field insert into user table user with two field name and created as, and we have a two placeholder. Okay, so this SQL is working really cool. But now how do we to implement insert into a real table? So remember, you have to pass argument. So we call db.exact argument. It should be like that, and we have an argument here. And now we're going to see what happened. And now I'm going to put a return. And you see return should be SQL results and arrow. So we have to put SQL.results and arrow. Okay, so in the main function, we have to results and arrow equal. Now I'm going to log print slide logs.print slide results dot last insert ID. I'm sorry. So we have to just ID arrow equal, which don't think okay, that's arrow equal results dot last ID. And now I'm going to result and arrow and arrow. Now we see result ID result last insert ID equal ID and arrow. Okay, so we have done major log. Okay, now let's go and run. See, now last insert ID and arrow is new. Now that means our query builder insert is working really cool, and it's working. Now I'm going to again to select a user user, and now you see Toàn Nguyễn Đính. Okay, still working. And one more time I'm changing to for example James or Tom, and now I'm run again. Go run this man. Now we have an ID equal 4, and okay, it's ID equal 4, and let's see in our database. We have Tom Nguyễn. It's cool. Okay, so this is how I create a custom query builder. I hope this video is useful for you, and see you next time, and bye for now. Thank you for watching.